Maya Johnson looked at the clock on the hospital wall. It was almost 7 in the morning. Her 12-hour shift was finally coming to an end. She felt tired but happy. Being a nurse at Metro General Hospital in Chicago was hard work, but Maya loved helping people get better. At 26 years old, Maya had been working as a trauma nurse for 3 years. She had seen many accidents and emergencies. Some nights were quiet, but last night had been very busy. 3 car accidents, 2 heart attacks, and 1 person who fell down the stairs. Maya had helped the doctors save all of them. She walked to the break room and grabbed her purse and jacket. The other nurses were getting ready for the day shift. Maya said goodbye to her friends and headed toward the exit. The morning sun was shining through the big windows of the hospital lobby. It was going to be a beautiful day. Maya always stopped at the same coffee shop after work. It was called Corner Cafe, and it was just 2 blocks from the hospital. The owner, an older Korean woman named Lisa Park, made the best coffee in the neighborhood. Maya had been going there almost every day for 2 years. The morning air felt cool and fresh after being inside the hospital all night. Maya walked slowly down the sidewalk. She enjoyed these quiet moments after her busy shifts. Soon she would go home to her small apartment where her younger brother Kevin was probably still sleeping. Kevin was 19 years old, but he had special needs. Maya took care of him because their mother had died in a car accident 5 years ago. Their father had left when Kevin was just a baby. Maya was the only family Kevin had, and she loved him very much. Taking care of him was hard sometimes, especially with her job and all the bills she had to pay. Maya reached the coffee shop and pushed open the glass door. A small bell rang as she walked inside. The shop smelled like fresh coffee and warm pastries. There were only a few people inside. Lisa was behind the counter, smiling and getting ready for the morning rush. Maya stood in line behind an older man. He looked like he was in his 70s. He had gray hair and was wearing a simple blue sweater. The man was looking through his wallet, counting his money carefully. He seemed like a nice, quiet person. The old man ordered a small coffee and a muffin. Lisa smiled at him and said the total was $4.50. The man started counting out his change very slowly. His hands were shaking a little bit. Maya could tell he was being careful with his money. While Maya waited, she looked around the coffee shop. Everything seemed normal and peaceful. A young mother was feeding her baby in the corner. 2 college students were studying at a table near the window. An older woman was reading a newspaper by herself. Then Maya noticed something that made her feel worried. A man had just walked into the coffee shop. He looked nervous and upset. He was wearing a dark jacket and kept looking around quickly. His hands were moving in and out of his jacket pockets. Something about him did not feel right. The nervous man got in line behind Maya. She could feel him moving around behind her. He was breathing hard and making small noises. Maya had worked in the emergency room long enough to know when someone was acting strange. Her heart started beating faster. The old man in front of Maya was still counting his change. He had found $3 but was still looking for the rest. Lisa waited patiently, not rushing him. The old man seemed embarrassed that he was taking so long. Suddenly, the nervous man behind Maya pushed past her. He ran toward the counter where Lisa was standing. Maya saw him reach into his jacket and pull out something black and shiny. It was a gun. Everything happened very fast after that. The man with the gun started yelling at Lisa. He demanded that she give him all the money in the cash register. Lisa's face turned white with fear. She started shaking and could not move. The old man in front of Maya looked confused and scared. He did not understand what was happening. He was still holding his coins in his hand. The gun was pointing right at him and Lisa. Maya's nursing training had taught her to stay calm in emergencies. But this was different from anything she had ever seen at the hospital. Her heart was pounding, but she knew she had to do something, to help. The man with the gun was getting more upset. He was shouting louder and waving the gun around. Other people in the coffee shop started screaming and running toward the door. The young mother grabbed her baby and hid under a table. Maya could see that the old man was frozen with fear. He did not know what to do. The gun was so close to him. Maya realized that something terrible was about to happen. Then she heard a loud bang. The gun had gone off by accident. The nervous man had not meant to shoot, but his finger had pressed the trigger. The bullet was flying straight toward the old man. Maya did not think about her own safety. She did not think about Kevin waiting for her at home. She did not think about anything except saving the old man's life. In one quick movement, Maya threw herself forward. She pushed the old man out of the way and felt something hot hit her shoulder. The pain was sharp and terrible. Maya fell to the floor and everything around her became blurry and dark. The last thing Maya remembered was the old man's face looking down at her. He was crying and holding her hand. She could hear sirens in the distance. Someone was calling her name, but the voice sounded far away. Maya had saved a stranger's life, but she did not know if she would survive herself. She had acted without thinking, just like she did every day as a nurse. But this time her quick thinking and brave heart had put her own life in danger. As Maya lost consciousness on the coffee shop floor, she could not have imagined how this one moment of courage would change everything. The old man whose life she had saved was about to change her life in ways she never could have dreamed. Maya woke up to the sound of beeping machines. Her shoulder felt like it was on fire. She tried to move, but the pain was too strong. Slowly, she opened her eyes and saw white walls and bright lights above her. She was in a hospital bed. A familiar voice said her name. Maya turned her head and saw Dr. Martinez, one of the doctors she worked with at Metro General Hospital. He was standing next to her bed with a worried look on his face. "Maya, you're awake," Dr. Martinez said with relief. "How do you feel?" Maya tried to speak, but her throat was dry. A nurse Maya did not know gave her some water. After a few sips, Maya was able to talk. "What happened?" Maya asked. Her voice was weak and quiet. Dr. Martinez sat down in the chair next to her bed. "You were shot at the coffee shop. Do you remember? You saved that old man's life. The bullet hit your shoulder, but you're going to be okay." The memories came back to Maya slowly. The nervous man with the gun. The old man counting his change. The loud bang. Maya throwing herself forward to protect the stranger. "Is he okay?" Maya asked. "The old man, is he hurt?" "He's fine," Dr. Martinez said. "You saved his life. The bullet would have hit him in the chest if you hadn't pushed him away. You're a hero, Maya." Maya did not feel like a hero. She felt tired and scared. The pain in her shoulder was getting worse, and she was worried about Kevin. Who was taking care of her brother while she was in the hospital? "Kevin," Maya said, "I need to call Kevin. He doesn't know where I am." "Don't worry about Kevin," said a voice from the doorway. Maya looked up and saw her neighbor, Mrs. Garcia. She was an older woman who lived in the apartment next to Maya and Kevin. "I've been taking care of Kevin since yesterday," Mrs. Garcia said as she walked into the room. "The police called me because you had my number in your phone as an emergency contact. Kevin is fine. He's worried about you, but I told him you would be okay." Maya felt tears in her eyes. She was so grateful to Mrs. Garcia for helping Kevin. Maya had always tried to take care of everything by herself, but now she realized how much she needed other people. Dr. Martinez explained that Maya had been in surgery for 3 hours. The bullet had been very close to hitting an important blood vessel in her shoulder. If it had hit that vessel, Maya could have died. She was very lucky to be alive. "You'll need to stay in the hospital for at least a week," Dr. Martinez said. "Then you'll need physical therapy to help your shoulder get better. It will take time, but you should make a full recovery." Maya nodded, but she was worried about work and money. She could not afford to miss work for weeks. She had bills to pay and rent to cover. Kevin needed special care that cost a lot of money. Maya did not know what she was going to do. The next day, Maya's room was filled with flowers and cards. Nurses and doctors from her unit came to visit her. They brought balloons and told her how proud they were of her. The local newspaper had written a story about what happened at the coffee shop. The reporter called Maya a hero. Maya's phone rang all day with calls from reporters and people who wanted to interview her. She did not want to talk to any of them. She just wanted to get better and go home to Kevin. On her second day in the hospital, Maya had a visitor she was not expecting. A man in his 70s knocked on her door. He had gray hair and was wearing the same blue sweater Maya remembered from the coffee shop. "Hello," the man said quietly. "I'm Henry Carter. I'm the man you saved." Maya looked at him for a moment. Even though she had saved his life, they had never really met. Everything had happened so fast at the coffee shop. "Please come in," Maya said. Henry walked slowly into the room. He was carrying a small bouquet of flowers. Henry sat down in the chair next to Maya's bed. For a moment, neither of them knew what to say. Finally, Henry spoke. "I wanted to thank you," he said. His voice was shaky and Maya could see tears in his eyes. "You saved my life. You don't even know me, but you risked everything to protect me." Maya felt embarrassed. "I just did what anyone would do," she said. "No," Henry said, shaking his head. "Not everyone would do what you did. You're very brave." Henry told Maya that he had not been able to sleep since the shooting. He kept thinking about what could have happened if Maya had not been there. He also felt guilty that Maya was hurt because of him. "You shouldn't feel guilty," Maya said. "It wasn't your fault. That man chose to bring a gun into the coffee shop. You didn't do anything wrong." Henry smiled for the first time since he had arrived. "You're very kind," he said. "Tell me about yourself. I want to know about the person who saved my life." Maya did not usually like talking about herself, but something about Henry made her feel comfortable. She told him about her job as a nurse, about Kevin and his special needs, and about how hard it was to take care of everything on her own. Henry listened carefully to everything Maya said. He asked questions about Kevin and seemed genuinely interested in Maya's life. Maya found herself talking more than she usually did with strangers. "You work so hard," Henry said. "Taking care of sick people at the hospital and then going home to take care of your brother. When do you take care of yourself?" Maya had never really thought about that question. She was always so busy taking care of other people that she never had time for herself. As Henry got ready to leave, he took Maya's hand. "I want to help you," he said. "You saved my life, and I want to do something for you." "You don't need to do anything," Maya said. "I'm just glad you're okay." "I'll be back tomorrow," Henry said as he walked toward the door. "There's someone I want you to meet." After Henry left, Maya wondered what he meant. She had no idea that her life was about to change in ways she could never have imagined. The next morning, Maya was eating breakfast when Henry Carter walked into her hospital room. This time, he was not alone. A woman in her 40s was with him. She had dark hair and was wearing a nice business suit. She looked important and successful. "Maya, I'd like you to meet my daughter, Susan," Henry said as they both walked toward her bed. "Susan, this is Maya Johnson, the young woman I told you about." Susan smiled warmly at Maya and shook her hand. "It's so nice to meet you, Maya. My father hasn't stopped talking about you since yesterday. He's told me everything about what you did at the coffee shop." Maya felt a little nervous. Susan looked like the kind of person who worked in a big office building and made a lot of money. Maya wondered why Henry had brought his daughter to meet her. "Please sit down," Maya said, pointing to the chairs next to her bed. Henry and Susan sat down. Susan opened a large leather bag and took out a notebook and some papers. Maya noticed that the papers had official-looking letterheads on them. "Maya," Henry said, "before we talk, I need to tell you something about myself. Something I probably should have mentioned yesterday." Maya looked at Henry with curiosity. He seemed nervous, which was strange because he had been so calm the day before. "When I was young, I was a teacher," Henry continued. "I taught 5th grade for 35 years. I loved working with children and helping them learn. Teaching was my passion, and I never wanted to do anything else." Maya nodded. She could imagine Henry as a teacher. He had a kind, patient way of talking that reminded her of her favorite teacher from elementary school. "But there's something else," Henry said, looking down at his hands. "My wife Catherine came from a wealthy family. Her father owned Carter Manufacturing, a company that makes parts for cars and airplanes. When Catherine's father died, she inherited the business, Susan continued the story for her father. My mother never wanted to run the business herself. She and my father decided to hire good managers to run the company while they lived a simple life. They kept the money from the business, but they lived like regular people. Maya was starting to understand that Henry was not just a retired teacher. He was much wealthier than she had thought. Catherine died 2 years ago, Henry said sadly. We were married for 48 years. She was the love of my life. After she died, I didn't know what to do with all the money we had saved. My father has been living in the same small house for 20 years, Susan explained. He drives an old car and shops at regular stores. Most people don't know that he's worth millions of dollars. Maya's eyes grew wide. She could not believe what she was hearing. The quiet old man she had saved was a millionaire. We've been talking about what to do with the money, Susan continued. My father always planned to give it away to charities when he died. But after what happened at the coffee shop, we realized we wanted to help someone while my father is still alive to see the difference it makes. Henry leaned forward in his chair. Maya, you saved my life without thinking about yourself. You didn't know who I was or whether I had any money. You just saw someone in danger and decided to help. That tells me everything I need to know about the kind of person you are. Maya did not know what to say. She had never been in a situation like this before. People with millions of dollars did not usually want to help someone like her. We want to help you, Susan said. We want to pay for all of your medical bills from the shooting. We also want to pay off your student loans and set up a trust fund for your brother Kevin's care. Maya stared at them in shock. She could not believe what she was hearing. Her student loans were over $50,000. Kevin's special care cost hundreds of dollars every month. Maya had been struggling to pay these bills for years. I don't understand, Maya said. Why would you do this for me? I was just doing what felt right. Anyone would have done the same thing. No, Maya, Henry said firmly. Not everyone would have done what you did. Most people would have been too scared to move. You risked your life for a complete stranger. That kind of courage and kindness is rare. Susan opened her notebook and showed Maya some numbers written on a page. We want to set up a trust fund with enough money to take care of Kevin for the rest of his life. We also want to pay for you to go back to school if you want to become a nurse practitioner. Maya had always dreamed of becoming a nurse practitioner, but she could never afford the extra schooling. Nurse practitioners could help patients in ways that regular nurses could not. They could prescribe medicine and make important decisions about patient care. This is too much, Maya said, tears starting to form in her eyes. I can't accept all of this money, it doesn't feel right. Henry reached over and took Maya's hand. Maya, my wife Catherine was a lot like you. She always put other people first. She would have loved you. I know she would want us to help you. Think about it this way, Susan added. You gave my father the gift of life. This money will give you the gift of freedom. Freedom from worry about bills and debt. Freedom to pursue your dreams and take care of Kevin without stress. Maya thought about what her life had been like before the shooting. She worked 12-hour shifts at the hospital and then came home to take care of Kevin. She was always worried about money and bills. She never had time to rest or think about her own future. What would I have to do? Maya asked quietly. Nothing, Henry said. You don't have to do anything special or different. Just keep being the kind, caring person you already are. Use this opportunity to help other people, just like you helped me. Susan explained that they had already talked to lawyers and accountants. Everything was legal and properly set up. Maya would not have to pay taxes on the money and it would be available whenever she needed it. Maya looked at Henry and Susan. She could see in their eyes that they really wanted to help her. This was not about feeling guilty or paying back a debt. They genuinely cared about her and wanted to make her life better. I accept, Maya said, wiping tears from her eyes. Thank you. I don't know how to thank you enough. Henry smiled, the biggest smile Maya had seen from him. You already thanked us by saving my life. Now we get to thank you by helping with yours. 3 weeks later, Maya walked out of Metro General Hospital as a patient for the last time. Her shoulder was feeling much better, and the doctor said she was healing perfectly. But the biggest change in Maya's life was not her shoulder. It was everything else. Henry and Susan had kept their promise. All of Maya's medical bills were paid. Her student loans were completely gone. Maya had never seen her bank account with so much money in it. For the first time in years, she did not have to worry about paying rent or buying groceries. Mrs. Garcia was waiting outside the hospital with Kevin. Maya's younger brother ran to her and gave her a careful hug, being gentle with her injured shoulder. "I missed you so much," Kevin said. Maya could see that he had been worried about her. "I missed you too," Maya said, holding Kevin close. "But I'm all better now, and things are going to be different for us." Mrs. Garcia smiled at Maya. "This young man has been asking about you every day. He's been such a good boy while you were gone." Maya thanked Mrs. Garcia for everything she had done. Without her help, Maya did not know what would have happened to Kevin while she was in the hospital. The next morning, Maya got a phone call from Susan Carter Williams. Susan had arranged for Maya to meet with a counselor at Northwestern University about their nurse practitioner program. "I don't know if I'm smart enough for such a good school," Maya told Susan over the phone. "Maya, you're one of the smartest and bravest people I've ever met," Susan replied. "Besides, your grades from nursing school were excellent. You'll do great." Maya had never thought she was smart enough for a university like Northwestern. She had gone to a small community college for her nursing degree because it was all she could afford. Now she had the chance to go to one of the best schools in the country. The meeting at Northwestern went better than Maya had hoped. The counselor, Dr. Patricia Williams, was impressed with Maya's experience as a trauma nurse. She explained that the nurse practitioner program would take 2 years to complete. "You'll be able to do things as a nurse practitioner that you can't do as a regular nurse," Dr. Williams explained. "You can diagnose patients, prescribe medications, and even open your own clinic someday." Maya had never thought about opening her own clinic, but the idea excited her. She could help people in her own neighborhood who could not afford to go to expensive doctors. "When can I start?" Maya asked. "The next semester begins in January," Dr. Williams said. "That gives you 3 months to get ready." Maya left Northwestern feeling more excited about her future than she had ever felt before. For the first time, she could see a path forward that did not involve working extra shifts just to pay bills. When Maya got home, she found Henry Carter sitting in her living room, talking with Kevin. They were looking at a book about airplanes. Together. "Henry is teaching me about how planes fly," Kevin said excitedly. "Did you know that some planes can fly faster than sound?" Maya smiled. Henry had become like a grandfather to Kevin. He visited them almost every day, and Kevin looked forward to seeing him. "Maya, can I talk to you for a minute?" Henry asked. They went into the kitchen while Kevin continued looking at the airplane book. "How did the meeting at Northwestern go?" Henry asked. "It went great," Maya said. "I start in January. I still can't believe this is really happening." Henry nodded with satisfaction. "I'm so proud of you. You're going to be an excellent nurse practitioner." "Henry, I want you to know how grateful I am," Maya said. "You and Susan have changed my whole life." "You changed my life too," Henry replied. "Before I met you, I was just a lonely old man who missed his wife. Now I feel like I have a purpose again. Helping you and Kevin has given me something to live for." Maya had not realized how much helping her meant to Henry. She thought she was the only one whose life had been changed by their meeting. Over the next few weeks, Maya's life continued to transform. She was able to quit her second job at the clothing store. She had been working there on her days off from the hospital to make extra money. Now she could focus on just being a nurse and preparing for school. Maya also had time to do things with Kevin that she had never been able to do before. They went to movies, visited museums, and took walks in the park. Kevin was happier than Maya had ever seen him. The local newspaper wanted to do another story about Maya, but she said no. She did not want people to know about the money Henry had given her. She was worried that people would think she had saved Henry's life because she wanted something in return. One day Maya was working at the hospital when Dr. Martinez called her into his office. "Maya, I have some news," he said. "The hospital board wants to give you an award for bravery. They're also offering you a promotion to head nurse of the emergency department. Maya was surprised. She had only been a nurse for 3 years. Most head nurses had much more experience. Are you sure they want me? Maya asked. There are nurses here who have been working much longer than I have. They specifically asked for you, Dr. Martinez said. They said your actions at the coffee shop showed the kind of leadership and courage they want in a head nurse. Maya accepted the promotion. It came with more money and more responsibility, but she felt ready for the challenge. The extra money would also help her save for the future, even though she no longer had to worry about basic bills. That evening, Maya called Henry to tell him about her promotion. That's wonderful news, Henry said. But I'm not surprised. I knew, from the moment I met you, that you were destined for great things. None of this would have happened without you and Susan, Maya said. Maya, you need to understand something, Henry said seriously. We didn't change who you are. We just gave you the chance to become who you were always meant to be. You were always brave, smart, and caring. Now you just have the freedom to show the world those qualities. Maya realized that Henry was right. The money had not changed her personality or her values. It had simply removed the barriers that were preventing her from reaching her full potential. As Maya got ready for bed that night, she thought about how different her life was now compared to just a few weeks ago. She was going to be a head nurse, then a nurse practitioner, and someday maybe she would open her own clinic. Kevin was getting the best care possible, and she no longer had to worry about money. But the best part was not the money or the opportunities. The best part was having Henry as a friend and father figure. Maya had gained something much more valuable than money. She had gained a family. 2 years later, Maya stood in front of the mirror in her apartment, adjusting her graduation cap. She could hardly believe this day had finally arrived. Today she would graduate from Northwestern University as a nurse practitioner. All the hard work, late nights of studying, and long hours at the hospital had led to this moment. Kevin knocked on her bedroom door. Maya, Henry is here, he called out. He says it's time to go. Maya took one last look at herself in the mirror. She was wearing a black graduation gown with a special hood that showed she was getting her master's degree. Her shoulder, where the bullet had hit her 2 years ago, no longer hurt at all. Sometimes Maya had to remind herself that the shooting had really happened. Henry was waiting in the living room, wearing his best suit. He had a big smile on his face and was holding a camera. You look beautiful, Maya, Henry said. Catherine would have been so proud of you today. Maya had learned a lot about Catherine over the past 2 years. Henry often told stories about his late wife and how much she had loved helping other people. Maya felt honored that Henry thought Catherine would have been proud of her. The graduation ceremony was held in a big auditorium at Northwestern University. Maya's name was called and she walked across the stage to receive her diploma. She could hear Henry and Kevin cheering loudly from the audience. When she looked out at them, she saw Henry wiping tears from his eyes. After the ceremony, Susan Carter Williams found Maya outside the auditorium. Susan had flown in from New York just for Maya's graduation. Congratulations, Maya, Susan said, giving her a big hug. You did it. You're officially a nurse practitioner now. I couldn't have done it without your family's help, Maya said. Thank you for believing in me. We didn't just believe in you, Susan replied. We knew you would succeed because we could see how determined you were. That evening, Henry took Maya, Kevin, and Susan out to dinner at a fancy restaurant to celebrate. During dinner, Maya told them about her plans for the future. I want to open a clinic in my old neighborhood, Maya said. There are so many people there who can't afford to go to the doctor. I want to help them. Henry nodded approvingly. That sounds like exactly the kind of thing Catherine would have done. She always said that the best way to use money was to help people who needed it most. 6 months later, Maya's dream became reality. With Henry and Susan's continued support, she opened the Second Chances Health Clinic in the same neighborhood where she had grown up. The clinic was in a building that used to be an old grocery store. Maya had it completely renovated to include exam rooms, a waiting area, and even a small pharmacy. The clinic offered medical care to anyone who needed it, regardless of whether they could pay. Maya worked there 3 days a week, and she had hired 2 other nurse practitioners to help her. On the other days, she still worked at Metro General Hospital as the head nurse of the emergency department. Kevin had also found his purpose. Now, 21 years old, he worked at the clinic as a volunteer. His job was to help patients feel comfortable when they came in for their appointments. Kevin had a special gift for making people smile, even when they were worried about their health. Kevin is the heart of this clinic, Maya often told people. Patients love him, and he makes everyone feel welcome. The clinic quickly became popular in the neighborhood. People who had not seen a doctor in years came in for checkups. Maya treated everything from simple colds to serious diabetes problems. She also started a program to teach people about healthy eating and exercise. One day, Maya got a phone call that made her very sad. Henry had suffered a heart attack and was in the hospital. Maya rushed to see him, praying that he would be okay. Henry was in the intensive care unit, but he was awake and able to talk. When he saw Maya, he smiled weakly. "I'm not afraid," Henry told Maya. "I've had a wonderful life, and these past 2 years with you and Kevin have been the best part." "Don't talk like that," Maya said, holding his hand. "You're going to get better. The doctors are taking good care of you." Henry recovered from his heart attack, but Maya realized that he was getting older and would not be around forever. She started spending even more time with him, and they talked about all the things they wanted to do together. A year later, Henry's health was getting worse. One evening, he called Maya to his house. Susan had flown in from New York to be with her father. "Maya, I have something important to tell you," Henry said. They were sitting in his living room, the same place where they had first talked about changing Maya's life. "I've decided to leave most of my money to your clinic when I die," Henry said. "I want the Second Chances Health Clinic to continue helping people long after I'm gone." Maya was shocked. "Henry, that's too much. Your family should have that money," Susan spoke up from across the room. "Maya, I have plenty of money from my law practice. My father and I both agree that this is what my mother would have wanted. She always said that money should be used to help people, not just sit in a bank account." Henry lived for another 6 months. During that time, he came to the clinic almost every day. He would sit in the waiting room and talk to patients, making them feel less nervous about seeing the doctor. The patients loved him, and many of them thought he was Maya's grandfather. When Henry died peacefully in his sleep, the whole neighborhood mourned his loss. Maya organized a memorial service at the clinic. Over 200 people came to honor the man who had helped so many of them get medical care. Maya spoke at the memorial service. "Henry Carter saved my life twice," she said. "First, he gave me the chance to become a nurse practitioner. Second, he showed me that the most important thing in life is helping other people." 5 years after the shooting at the coffee shop, Maya's life looked completely different. The Second Chances Health Clinic had grown to include 4 locations around the city. Maya had trained dozens of other nurse practitioners who wanted to help underserved communities. Kevin had gotten married to a woman named Lisa, who also worked at the clinic. They lived in their own apartment, but they still had dinner with Maya every Sunday. Kevin was now the clinic's patient coordinator, and he was very good at his job. Maya still went to Corner Cafe every morning after her shifts at the hospital. Lisa Park, the owner, had put up a small plaque on the wall where the shooting had happened. It read, "In honor of Maya Johnson and Henry Carter, sometimes one moment of courage can change the world." Maya often thought about that morning when she threw herself in front of a stranger's bullet. She had no idea that saving Henry's life would lead to saving so many other lives through her clinic. She had learned that when you help one person, the effects can spread to help hundreds of others. The most important lesson Maya had learned was that real wealth was not about money. It was about the relationships you build and the difference you make in other people's lives. Henry had given her money, but more importantly, he had given her love, guidance, and the confidence to dream big. Maya kept a picture of Henry on her desk at the clinic. Every day when she looked at it, she remembered his words. "The best way to thank someone who saves your life is to use your life to save others."